الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله.
إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا وسيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلن تجد له وليا مرشدا وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله الواحد القهار العزيز الغفار والصلاة والسلام على نبيه المختار وعلى آله وصحبه الطيبين الأطهار ومن صار على نهجهم إلى دار القرار. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون. يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما. أما بعد فإن أصدق الحديث كلام الله وخير الهدي هدي محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وشر الأمور محدثاتها وكل محدثة بدعة وكل بدعة ضلالة وكل ضلالة في النار. أيها المؤمنون اتقوا الله تعالى وراقبوه في السر والعلن يؤتكم كفلين من رحمته ويتوب عليكم. Beloved brothers and sisters in Islam, إن من أعظم العلوم على وجه الأرض مطلقا, from the best of the sciences that has been present on the face of this earth is the sciences of this religion. Any science that has been put forth in order for humanity to increase in their awareness of this religion, to increase in their ibadah, to increase in their understanding of Allah Azza wa Jalla's purpose in the creation, in their to increase in how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would like us to return back to Him. Having a mentality, a lifestyle that is geared in the way that Allah Azza wa Jalla decreed. Whatever science has been put forth to aid mankind into gaining this mentality, then it is from the best of sciences to touch this earth without any type of doubt or hesitation. And from within these sciences, just so that everyone could put something towards what I'm discussing right now, from within these Islamic sciences, whether it is hadith, whether it is Quran, whether it is the Arabic language, whether it is the science of al-fiqh, which is how you worship Allah Azza wa Jalla and how you deal with one another in a society, within these sciences is one that outweighs every other science. And the difference and the distance between this science and the other Islamic sciences that we have deemed to be the most glorious thing on the face of this earth is as far as the eye can see and more. This science is known to be al-fiqh al-akbar, the major fiqh. And whatever your heads are going to right now when I'm mentioning al-fiqh al-akbar, it's most likely not that. Al-fiqh al-akbar huwa ma'rifatullah. Al-fiqh al-akbar that we just mentioned is the best science hands down to touch this earth, is the science that deals with learning about Allah Azza wa Jalla. The science that deals with learning and understanding and interpreting and calling upon Allah Azza wa Jalla's glorious names and attributes. This is the reason why Allah Azza wa Jalla created the creation in the first place. الله الذي خلق سبع سماوات ومن الأرض مثلهن يتنزل الأمر بينهن لتعلموا. Allah is the one who created the seven heavens and likewise the earths, and He has decreed for His legislation to be sent down within whatever He has created subhanahu wa ta'ala for a purpose. لتعلموا, so that you may know. You may know what? أن الله على كل شيء قدير, that Allah Azza wa Jalla is capable of all. وأن الله قد أحاط بكل شيء علما, that Allah Azza wa Jalla has encompassed knowledge of all. So in other words, Allah Azza wa Jalla mentioned that the wisdom behind creating the creation in the first place, before we mentioned that the reason was to worship Allah Azza wa Jalla, it is to get to know Allah Azza wa Jalla. كيف تعبد الله عز وجل بإخلاص وصدق وتوكل وخوف ورجاء وأنت لا تعلمه. How can you expect to worship Allah Azza wa Jalla, the most lofty subhan, the most gracious Jalla Ula, the one who has bestowed all these immense bounties upon you, worshipping Him in a way that is befitting to Him, not worshipping in a way that we see to be fit, not worshipping Him when it becomes convenient for us. This is our hal today. And many of us, and it's not meant to be brought out throughout the public, but everyone can go back to themselves. Am I from these people who worship Allah when it's just convenient for me? Am I from these people who worship Allah Azza wa Jalla with the bare minimum? وَمِنَ النَّاسِ مَنْ يَعْبُدُ اللَّهَ عَلَى حَرْفٍ. Those who worship Allah Azza wa Jalla on the edge, for a lack of better translation, meaning they hasten towards Allah when they need it. And when life is good, they just do the bare minimum. Is this what Al-Ahkam Al-Hakimi subhanahu wa ta'ala is deserving of? So if the answer is yes, I feel like I'm one of these people. And I feel like I don't even taste my ibadah anymore. Rather, I feel like my ibadah has turned into a task, has turned into something that I just check off the list. So what is the cure? التفقه في أسماء الله. التفقه في أسمائه ومعرفته سبحانه وتعالى. Everyone has their own calamity. Everyone has their own different barrier that is between them and excelling in your relationship with Allah Azza wa Jalla. But all the wounds are one. All these wounds come in different shapes and sizes. But the origin of these wounds, east, west, north, south, black, white, purple, Arab, non-Arab, convert, born Muslim, all these wounds are one. وَمَا قَدَرُ اللَّهَ حَقَّ قَدْرِهِ. And they did not glorify Allah, they did not magnify Allah in a manner that is befitting to Him subhanahu wa ta'ala. أعظم الأمور اللجوء إلى أسماء الله الحسنى. لذلك قال الإمام أحمد رضي الله عنه وأرضاه: من كان بالله أعرف كان منه أخوف وكان لعبادته أطلب وكان عن معصيته أبعد. Imam Ahmad mentioned a profound principle That goes hand in hand with the level of one's awareness in Allah Azza wa Jalla's names. And this principle mentions, and he says, the more one knows Allah Azza wa Jalla, the more one is aware of Allah Azza wa Jalla, the further he or she is going to be away from sin. The closer they're going to be towards Allah Azza wa Jalla's obedience. And the more they're going to have true, proper fear in Allah Azza wa Jalla. Now, if you leave this earth with these three qualities that I just mentioned, and you have attained them in yourself in a way that Allah Azza wa Jalla deems valid, what's stopping you from Jannah? Ya ikhwata, from my aada, if Allah Azza wa Jalla calls this abd faqir, calls this humble servant, who Allah knows is nothing more than anyone else in this room, to give a talk or to specifically a khutbah, where in this day and age, some of us only see the masjid when it's khutbah time. The only thing I deem fit to be spoken about, despite political affairs, despite how we need to maneuver in this country, despite what's going on back home, what I mention is a comprehensive resolution to all of that. First and foremost, for our lives individually, that our households, our societies and communities, and bi'idhnillah, the ummah in totality. May Allah Azza wa Jalla give tawfiq to the ummah, ya Rabbil Alameen. Is speaking about the names of Allah Azza wa Jalla. And today, for the moments I have, I just wanted to shed light. Because with the names of Allah Azza wa Jalla, we just mentioned is al-fiqh al-akbar. For anyone who studied any type of fiqh takes a long time to process and understand, and to see how we went from point A to point B, and how this is the final hukum, this is the final ruling. It takes a while sometimes to fully understand it. So if we're talking about Allah, how long do you think we need to speak about one name of Allah Azza wa Jalla? So this is me shedding light on a name bi tawfiqillah Azza wa Jalla. And upon everyone else is to go and do their own research. Open the mushaf, open the tafsir, listen to a playlist, anything that will increase your awareness of this name and others. This is the name of Allah Azza wa Jalla that wallahi, when you get to understand it and you grasp what it means in reality, it's very hard to take a path other than the path of Allah Azza wa Jalla. You feel guilty in how you've came short your whole life. When you realize this is the name that Allah Azza wa Jalla has attributed to Himself. Allah Azza wa Jalla has made it upon Himself to sustain His creation. Hence why we call Him Ar-Razzaq. Allah Azza wa Jalla has made it upon Himself to manifest and to take control and to facilitate for His creation. That's why we call Him Ar-Rabb. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the one who is perfect in His names and has bestowed bounties upon His creation one cannot count. Hence we call Him Al-Hamid. And the humans are in need of everything that we just mentioned right now. So everything that the humans needed, Allah Azza wa Jalla has decided to attribute a name to Himself, all based on something that we need. أليس كذلك? Humans need hubb. Humans need love. Humans need love from the people that they have love towards. For them to live a happy life, they need to be loved. This is not something that is soft. This is not something that brings down the masculinity of a man. This is not something that makes a woman more of a woman. These are emotions that every human being has been created to have. You need to be loved. So our name today that we're going to discuss for moments, Ismillah al-Wadud. أسمعتم بهذا الاسم؟ اسم الله الودود ورد في كتاب الله مرتين. Have you heard of this name al-Wadud? Have you heard it in the Sunnah? Have you heard it in the Quran? This name surprisingly only mentioned twice in the Quran. Only mentioned twice. But in very profound context. It is mentioned in Surah Hud, where Allah Azza wa Jalla speaks and mentions to us the affair of Shu'aib with his people. Where Shu'aib is calling his people to La ilaha illallah. قال شعيب وقال سبحانه وتعالى على لسان شعيب فاستغفروا ربكم ثم توبوا إليه إن ربي رحيم ودود. That's the first place where Shu'aib is telling his people, turn to Allah, leave off whatever you're worshipping other than Allah, abide by the commandments of Allah Azza wa Jalla, and repent. Why? Verily my Lord is Rahim, merciful, Wadud. I didn't mention the meaning of Wadud just yet. The other place where Al-Wadud is mentioned in the Quran, قال سبحانه إن بطش ربك لشديد إنه هو يبدئ ويعيد وهو الغفور الودود. Surah Al-Buruj. Al-Wadud, Imam al-Bukhari mentions Al-Wadud بمعنى الحبيب. Al-Wadud, like Al-Habib. And I'm pretty sure Arab, non-Arab, everyone knows what's Al-Habib. You mention someone, you're my Habib. You mention to your wife, you say, my Habibti. This means that you are my love. You are someone that I have made space in my heart for in order to love. هذا الحب. طيب, is Al-Hub and Mawadda, because Al-Wadud comes from Al-Mawadda, and Al-Mawadda coming from it, Al-Wud. So is Al-Wud and Al-Hub the same? Now we have just a glance of what Al-Wadud is. طيب, are Al-Wadud and Al-Habib the same? Which one is more comprehensive? طيب, Al-Hub, generally, elementary level understanding. Al-Habib or Al-Hub is Al-Masha'ir Dakhiliyah, your internal feelings. Whatever you feel internally towards someone or something. Right? This is Hub, something that is internal. Al-Wud is the external affection that comes due to what has been instilled internally from your love. So you have internal love for your mother. You gifting your mother on the weekend with dinner, with a gift, with some jewelry, this is known to be wood. This is known to be wood. You've expressed mawadda with your mother. Wood is the actions externally that come from your mahabba. Now we understand what is wood. إِنَّ الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ سَيَجْعَلُ لَهُمُ الرَّحْمَنُ وُدًّا. Verily those who believe in Allah Azza wa Jalla and practice in righteous deeds, Allah Azza wa Jalla will practice wood with them. Wood. So what is Al-Wadud? Al-Wadud, let's elaborate very quickly, because I don't have that much time. Let's elaborate very quickly in the ayah I mentioned in Surah Al-Buruj that I believe about 70% of the people in here know. Surah Al-Buruj. وَهُوَ الْغَفُورُ الْوَدُودُ. We understood Al-Wadud. Al-Ghafur, very basic translation, the one who forgives. Often. Subhanahu wa ta'ala. طيب, you as a servant, all you need to hear, knowing you come short with Allah Azza wa Jalla, is what? That He's forgiven you. طيب, وَلِلَّهِ الْمَثَلُ الْأَعْلَى. Let's take this consequence with another human being. Let's say you oppress someone. Let's say you oppressed your family. You oppressed, better example, you oppressed your good friend. You disobeyed him. You came off in a way that was disloyal to him or disloyal to her. You broke the loyalty that was between y'all two. It's something that hurt him. And it will take him a long time to eventually what? Forgive you. But this best friend that you were disloyal to, after months of sitting and thinking and being drowned in his own thoughts, he forgives you. It took him that long to forgive you. Is he going to treat you the same way before you were disloyal to him? Before you were disloyal to him, there was wood between you and him. He would do things out of love for you. Most he can do is forgive you. How hard is it going to be to go ahead and what? And bring back that wood in the same level and consistency before you wronged him? We're human beings. This is how it is. It's difficult to go back to that state, especially when you tested someone's loyalty and they broke that trust, they broke that bond. ولكن أنت تعمل الآن مع المولى سبحانه مع الودود. Why Al-Ghafur? Why Al-Wadud? Why? Allah is telling you, not only am I forgiving your sins, but the same ihsan I've been giving you when you were free from sin, I'm going to give you the same consistency even after you went ahead and oppressed yourself against me. Even after you went ahead and sinned once, twice, 3 times, 5, 10, a lifetime's worth. Wood. It doesn't change. The consistency is still there. ورد في أحد الإسرائيليات. One of the stories that happened in Bani Israel with Musa alayhi salam. Musa alayhi salam and his people, almost 20,000, they were traveling. And as they were traveling, they encountered a drought. They went months without any type of water. So the people, the children of Israel, Bani Israel, they said, Ya Musa, call upon Allah Azza wa Jalla, we're in need. We're in need of some water. So Musa Kalimullah, Musa alayhi salam is the one who spoke to Allah Azza wa Jalla without any intermediary. So Musa went to Allah. Ya Allah, my people are in need. They're asking for water. Can you provide for us? Allah Azza wa Jalla said to Musa, Ya Musa, amongst your army is an individual who's been sinning against me for 20 years. Ya Musa, amongst you is an individual who's been killing people for 20 years. Ya Musa, have him exit your army, and then I will provide what? And then I'll provide the water that you're asking for. So in other words, the sin of somebody within the army of Musa was the reason why there was no water. And the only way they can get this water is if this sinful individual is removed from the clan. Tayyib. Musa wasn't told who it was. This is one example of Allah Azza wa Jalla's word. He didn't expose his servant. That's one example. We didn't even get to the point of the story yet. Allah covered this individual. All Musa can do is relate to 20,000 men. O people, Allah said amongst you is a sinner. We won't get water till the sinner leaves. The people got scared. Allah Azza wa Jalla said, Tayyib. Everyone started re-evaluating themselves now. And then the individual who finally realized he was the one that Allah Azza wa Jalla mentioned to Musa, he saw how humble everyone was around him, how everyone is exceeding in their tawbah, exceeding in their istighfar, and then he realized he was the sinful servant. How do you think he felt? And Musa called and said, whoever it was needs to leave to save the rest of the people. So this man, who finally identified it was himself, saw the people around him busying themselves in tawbah. So he looked down and he started crying and he said, Ya Allah, I am your servant, I am your poor humble servant. I am the one who has oppressed himself for 20 plus years. Ya Allah, forgive me. Ya Allah, forgive me. And he kept on asking for Allah Azza wa Jalla's tawbah. The man is still within the clan. Allah's condition was this man is to be removed. Suddenly rain starts falling. Rain starts falling from Allah Azza wa Jalla. Many people may think that this is the end of the story. Khalas, okay, someone's tawbah, look what the tawbah did. The story isn't over. What I'm about to mention is Allah's wood. So then Musa went back to Allah and said, Ya Allah, you told me that there needs to be someone who leaves the army who possessed these traits. But no one left. What happened? Allah responded to Musa and said, Ya Musa, the person who I was mentioning repented and asked to be forgiven. And I accepted his forgiveness. This is still not the point of the story. So Musa was like, Tayyib, Ya Allah, show me who this person was. In other, show me this person has been sinning for 20 years. Show me him. Not to punish him or rebuke him. Show me who this man who saved us. This was a man that in his initial state was the cause of us not getting water. And due to him now we're getting water. So show me him. Show me him so I can give him status. So I can give him izzah. Allah, هذا الود الآن. This is wood. What does Allah say? Ya Musa, he spent 20 years sinning against me and I didn't expose him. And now when he finally repents, you want me to expose him? 20 years he was sinning and none of you knew about it until I mentioned it to you. And now when he finally repents and he's on my good side, you want me to expose him? هذا wood. Allah Azza wa Jalla, the second thing, and I'll end here. Allah Azza wa Jalla, there's many things that show you Allah's wood. From how Allah Azza wa Jalla has decreed for small acts of worship, and these acts of worship in result come with huge ajr, such as reading Qul Huwallahu Ahad, Surah Al-Ikhlas. You read a third of the Quran just by reading 3 ayat. What is Allah's wood in the most practical manner, in the most extensive manner? The worst of people that Allah Azza wa Jalla rebukes in the Quran are those who associate partners with Allah Azza wa Jalla. When Allah Azza wa Jalla is speaking about those who have associated partners with Allah, specifically the Christians, specifically those who have attributed to Allah a son, who have given to Allah multiple deities. لَقَدْ كَفَرَ الَّذِينَ قَالُوا إِنَّ اللَّهَ ثَالِثُ ثَلَاثَةٍ وَمَا مِنْ إِلَهٍ إِلَّا إِلَهٌ وَاحِدٌ وَإِن لَمْ يَنْتَهُوا عَمَّا يَقُولُونَ لَيَمَسَّنَّ الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا مِنْهُمْ عَذَابٌ أَلِيمٌ. Allah is talking about those who have fell into disbelief, who said Allah is one of three. And then Allah continues to rebuke this statement. What does Allah say after He speaks about the kufr of these people? We know that the worst thing to Allah is what? Worse than zina, worse than stealing is what? Shirk billah azza wa jal. That's the worst thing you could do. Give what belongs to Allah to other than Him. Tayyib. What does Allah say at the end of this ayah? Warn them that they're falling into disbelief. You're expecting Allah to what? Continuously show us the punishment that they're going to be getting. Sahih. Because these are people who deserve punishment. What does Allah say in the next ayah? أَفَلَا يَتُوبُونَ إِلَى اللَّهِ وَيَسْتَغْفِرُونَهُ وَاللَّهُ غَفُورٌ رَحِيمٌ. The worst of people, committing shirk, giving what belongs to Allah to other than Him, Allah, before mentioning adhab, what does Allah say? Do they not go back to Allah? Do they not have it in them to return back to Allah and just ask for forgiveness? Allah Azza wa Jalla is Ghafurur Rahim. هذا wood. His wood is even, he's trying to have his wood reach the people who aren't eligible for it, who are committing the worst dhulm. فما بالكم بأهل الإسلام فما بالكم بأهل لا إله إلا الله فما بالكم بأمة محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم. What is your thoughts of the one who's from the ummah of Muhammad, the most beloved man to Allah Azza wa Jalla, the greatest ummah to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, those who la ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah. If Allah's word is meaning to reach mushrikeen, how about Ahlul Iman? أقول ما تسمعون وأستغفر الله لي ولكم فاستغفروه إنه هو الغفور الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين والعاقبة للمتقين ولا عدوان إلا على الظالمين والصلاة والسلام على المبعوث رحمة للعالمين نبينا محمد عليه أفضل الصلاة وأزكى التسليم. يقول سبحانه وتعالى في محكم آياته: بدأ الأمر بنفسه سبحانه وتعالى وثنى بملائكته وثلث بالخلق أجمعين إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد وبارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم أعز الإسلام والمسلمين اللهم أعز الإسلام والمسلمين وأذل الشرك والمشركين ودمر أعداء الدين واجعل بلاد المسلمين آمنين مطمئنين وسائر بلاد المسلمين. اللهم انصر إخواننا المستضعفين في مشارق الأرض ومغاربها. اللهم انصر إخواننا المستضعفين في غزة يا ذا الجلال والإكرام. اللهم كن لهم عونا ونصيرا اللهم كن لهم عونا ونصيرا ومؤيدا وظهيرا. اللهم ألف بين قلوبهم اللهم وحد صفوفهم اللهم وحد صفوفهم اللهم سدد رميهم اللهم اجعل موتاهم من الشهداء اللهم اجعل موتاهم من الشهداء اللهم اشف مرضاهم اللهم اشف جرحاهم يا ذا الجلال والإكرام. اللهم حرر المسجد الأقصى إلى ديار المسلمين. اللهم طهر البيت المقدس من اليهود الغاصبين اللهم طهر البيت المقدس من اليهود الغاصبين. اللهم عليك بأعداء الملة ظاهرين باطنين اللهم عليك بأعداء الملة يا ذا الجلال والإكرام. اللهم خذهم أخذ عزيز مقتدر. اللهم أرنا فيهم آيات جبروتك وقوتك يا سميع يا مجيب. اللهم لا تؤاخذنا بذنوبنا ولا تؤاخذنا بتقصيرنا. اللهم حبب إلينا الإيمان وزينه في قلوبنا وكره إلينا الكفر والفسوق والعصيان. اللهم آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. وصل الله وسلم على البشير النذير في الأولين والآخرين.